okay. Anyway, so let's talk about why shoplifters walk.
In 1 mile, keep left.
So I've been seeing for some time some rhetoric from right-wing media, particularly about, you know, they won't prosecute, right? People are just walking in and they're like shoplifting and just walking out with stuff, and the reason it's happening is because of like soft on crime policies, and it's the Democrats and blah blah blah. So I'm out in Florida, or Florida. I've been trying to talk to real people
In a quarter
real
of a mile,
life,
keep left.
you know, getting off the internet. Not that some of these people I'm talking to are not on the internet as well, but I'm meeting people in real life and getting their feedback. And I want to do a lot more stuff like this. This has always been one of my goals, but with all the craziness that's been going on in my life with the house and everything, it hasn't really been possible. A lot of times I don't even have the time to do videos, just commenting on whatever's going on, much less to be going out places and meeting people. But anyway, since I'm out here, I've been taking the opportunity to do just that. So I've been talking to people, talking to Uber drivers, and just wherever I get an opportunity to talk to people, getting their feedback. I was at Best Buy and the alarm went off. Let's see if we can make this turn. I'm so nuts. Hopefully we don't crash during this live stream. I know I'm not driving a Tesla. But I can see why Tesla's in trouble now. We are in a K5, the Kia K5, and it's doing that. Anyway, so the alarms went off. I don't know why. I just heard the alarms going off, and I went up to the counter to pay for my item. And I'm a friendly guy. I talk to people all the time. Sense of humor. I was joking around and stuff like that. So glad to have an opportunity to say something silly. So I say, what did I say? I said something like, I said, you let that guy just walk out with all those phones, man? Or something. I said something like, I can't believe you did that. And he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you let that guy walk out with all those phones. Just being silly. And he picked up real quick what I was doing, and he jumped right in. He was like, yeah, or whatever. And so we did a little banter back and forth. And then somehow we ended up getting into a conversation about like serious stuff, or like what's happening with like shoplifting. So he says to me, this is one random guy in a Best Buy. These are his thoughts. Right, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But I thought it was intriguing and I wanted to share it with you. He says to me something to the extent of, don't quote me on this. I don't know the exact words he used, but I got a sense that he was saying basically that the shoplifters get away. They let them get away because the amount of money that it would cost Best Buy for the attorneys relative to their losses, right? It doesn't make sense. So someone comes in and they shoplifts $100 item, and then you look at the amount of money that needs to be spent on legal fees. One second, I apologize. cousin, going to a funeral tomorrow. Unfortunately, my uncle died. That's why I'm here in Florida. But anyway, so when you look at the cost of the attorney, which I can speak for myself personally, with my legal fees, with dealing with evictions and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, $100 item. I'm pretty sure the lawyers that Best Buy hires cost them a lot more money than that. So if you add it up across the board, look at all of the cases they would need to deal with. So Best Buy is a single company, right? And they have many stores all over the place. And if you look at all of the stores that have had theft, right, and they want to go after whoever stole the items, how many attorneys, how many cases, what the cost would be relative to the items stolen. So his thought was that it's not really worth it to Best Buy. So I don't know how he framed it, but I got a sense that he was suggesting that Best Buy kind of let things go, I guess. Which is interesting, because that's not the rhetoric we're getting. And again, it's just one guy saying this, right? He could be totally wrong. This is his opinion. But he does work in the store, and he has been involved, or there's been theft at the store that it's relevant to him, right? So he's got inside information. So I don't know, but again, it's just one guy. But his feeling is that they don't seem to be pushing it because of the cost benefit ratio, and he went even further than that, which I think, you got to watch what you're saying to customers. But he suggested that there might even be a tax benefit. So they avoid the expense of hiring all these attorneys to run all these cases, and also there might be a tax benefit, like a write-off. I don't know, how that stuff works. Maybe that's the thing. Like, you look at how much losses you had due to theft, and maybe there's some write-off that you can do or something. I don't know, but he suggested that. So I thought it was interesting. Right? Again, maybe he's wrong. That's his thoughts, whatever. But it seems to be something that might be feasible, because again, what is the incentive for these
Police reported ahead.
Best Buy stores to spend way more money than their losses? I mean, unless you're like trying to send a message, right? I mean, you don't want to send the message that you go and you rob Best Buy and you get away with it, which is one of the things that I think was problematic with the conversation. I mean, what if I'm a shoplifter and you're sitting here telling me like, oh, Best Buy is not going to spend the money on attorneys and stuff, so maybe that's incentivizing me to go and shoplift. I'm like, oh really? They don't push the stuff. So again, you got to watch what you're saying to customers. But anyway, that was his thought process, and I'm interested to know what you guys think about that. Do you think there's something to that in terms of and I don't know how that works. I mean, it's someone
In 1 mile, exit right.
Someone stole something from Best Buy. Now, if it's on camera, I guess you call the cops. This guy stole stuff. We have it on camera. The police show up and make an arrest based on your word. I don't know how that works. Is it because you're a company? I mean, because you're arresting someone. Like, what's your proof that they did it? I mean, the store could just be lying, right? But anyway, so they show up and then they arrest you. You go to jail for shoplifting.
Exit right.
And then there's some kind of your day in court situation. You have your day in court to defend yourself. But then I guess logically, like who's on the other side of that? It would have to be Best Buy, right? You didn't rob the police.
Exit right.
But I don't know, because there are cases where it's you versus the state, right? I mean, I don't know, there's cops all over the place. There's like 3 cops going that way. One just sped down there without his lights on. I don't know what's going on. It's apropos to the conversation, but whatever. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how this stuff works, right? I know there's like you versus the state. So I think, like, for example, speeding, right? Speeding, I think it's you versus the state. I guess because the state is the one that you did something against. They have this law of, like, you can't go above a certain speed. You violated their speed limit. So they have to prove their case in court, and you have to defend your case in court. Like, I'm being accused of speeding, and you know, maybe you're being wrongfully accused, right? So you have your day in court. But now if it's Best Buy, I mean, you didn't steal from the police. I think if you steal from the police, that's where it would be a state versus, right? But you stole from a private business. So although the police, you know, have the right to, like, arrest you, take you in or whatever, in terms of the court case, right, it wouldn't be the state, right? It's the store. So it's if it's the responsibility of the store and it's coming out of their pocket, you know, this is a corporation. Everything is about cost benefit ratio, right? It's all about profits. They're there to make a profit, and they're not there to be throwing money away. I mean, if you lost $100 item and it's going to cost you $2,000 to get that value back, I mean, you go to court and you argue, like, here's the evidence, blah blah blah, and then you win, right? The person's unable to make a case that they didn't steal the item or something. Then you win. Then the judge could award you your losses, right? So maybe they try to go after the thief for court costs and the item, right? So they would be awarded. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, that's why I'm saying it's just some guy, right? If you can get court costs, then that eliminates the theory about they don't want to spend the money. But then I got to look at success rate, right? What if there's some challenges in winning the case, right? The camera's blurry, something. I mean, the person is entitled to their day in court, so they can challenge the accusation that they stole something. So you got to have the evidence. You got to be able to prove it was them, right? So if the percentage of people that get away because the evidence is strong enough is high enough, then that alone could be something where it's not worth the effort, right? We're gonna lose too many of our cases to make it worth it. Whatever the math is, this is a corporation. Best Buy is a corporation, and this applies to other corporations as well, not just Best Buy. We're dealing with theft, and if the numbers don't make sense, then the action doesn't make sense, right? If they are going to go after people who are stealing things and take them to court and try to get them, you know, get awarded whatever and jail time, whatever it is, it needs to be something that makes sense mathematically speaking, right? The numbers got to make sense. The amount of time and money invested in the outcome, whatever the outcomes would be, it has to make sense from a profit and loss standpoint. And I suppose if it doesn't make sense, then perhaps there's a situation where you have a lot of people that are stealing stuff and they're getting away with it because the stores are just, I don't know how that works. I mean, do you just like say, well, we don't want to press charges? If you catch the guy with the item, right? The security guard catches the guy with the item, so the store doesn't really incur any losses. They got the item. The item didn't leave the store, didn't go far from the store. Maybe they catch him in the parking lot or something. So they put the item back on the shelf. You know, they didn't lose anything. And now the police are like, hey, do you want to press charges or something? I mean, if you choose that route, that means hiring an attorney and going to court and blah, 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 blah. So I'm wondering, do they just say, oh, you know, we have the item, so like what we want is, you know, ban the guy from the stores. You're not allowed to go to any Best Buy stores. Let bygones be bygones, right? And then what's at the other end of that? The potential validation somewhat of the arguments you get from right-wing media about like people are just like walking out of the store with stuff and they're not soft on crime, right? But here's the reality though. The actual reason for that, if this is true, the actual reason would not be what the right-wing media is suggesting. Right-wing media wants to put it all on the Democratic Party, that it's soft on crime policies. And they'll talk about stuff like bail reform and whatever. But what we're talking about is pure capitalism, right? It's pure capitalism. If companies that are profit-oriented are not willing to engage in a process that holds these thieves accountable, because it doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint, that's got nothing to do with Democrat policies.
In a quarter of a mile,
right?
Exit right.
The Democrats have nothing to do with the stores not being willing to pursue these folks to hold them accountable for their theft beyond just banning them from the store. And I don't know if this is a thing, but I could see that could be what's happening. You just ban them from the store. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do some research. I'm curious to know like how this stuff normally works. But it'd be interesting to know if the reality is these things are really happening, but not for the reasons that right-wing media suggest that they're happening. But anyway, I just want to hear your thoughts, especially any of you guys that have worked in retail. You have any inside knowledge about shoplifting and how it's dealt with? I would really be curious to hear.
Keep left. Hazard reported ahead.
Yeah, that was not my exit. I almost, who knows how much time I would have lost going over there. Anyway, this is the Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Fortunately, I just ate up the first 30 minutes. I only got an hour left. Hour and 7 minutes to go. Going to see my father. Staying at his cousin's. No. I think that'll be, I don't remember. Family member. Staying with family here. And then we're going to the funeral tomorrow of my uncle that died a few weeks ago. So, excited to see my dad. I haven't seen him since he came to see my house some time ago. Excited to see other family members there. And then tomorrow at the funeral, I mean, it's a sad event, but we're glad to see family members as well. So, it is what it is. All right, guys. Be safe, be well. Tell someone important to you that you love them while you can. None of us are promised tomorrow. Don't let time pass you by.